Welcome students. Today's topic is gene regulation in prokaryotes. Different genes in an organism are meant for the synthesis of different proteins. All proteins are, however, not needed at one time. Specific cells or tissues or organs require expression of specific sets of genes. Similarly, expression of specific sets of genes is required at different developmental stages of an organism or in different environmental conditions. In case of prokaryotes, which are unicellular organisms, they have fast multiplication, short life cycle, and can grow in varied environments. For example, E. coli can grow in intestinal tracts, ponds, streams, sewage systems, and other environments. Each of these environments provides different organic molecule for its use as energy source. E. coli is therefore well adapted to diverse environmental conditions. The adaptability of bacteria like E. coli depends on their ability to turn on and turn off the expression of specific sets of genes in response to environmental signal. The expression of particular set of genes is turned on when the products of these genes are needed for growth in the existing or in the changed environment. Similarly, the expression of such genes is turned off when their products are no longer needed for growth in the existing or in the changed environment. This phenomenon of turning off and turning on the expression of genes as per the requirement of bacteria is called gene regulation. This gene regulation in prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes occurs at various levels. For example, at DNA synthesis level, at transcriptional level when mRNA is synthesized, at protein synthesis level, and at post-transcriptional and translational level. However, in bacteria like E. coli, gene regulation at transcriptional level is well understood. Now, the question is why gene regulation is there in prokaryotes or eukaryotes? Gene regulation actually increases the overall fitness of an organism. Considerable amount of energy and resources are required during transcription and translation processes. By turning off the expression of specific genes, an organism can avoid wasting of energy as well as resources. The organism can utilize the conserved energy to synthesize products that are actually required for growth in the existing environment. The regulation of gene expression helps bacteria to achieve maximal growth and reproduction in any given environment. Now, there are actually two types of genes in any organism. Some gene products are required in all types of cells and in all environments or at all developmental stages. For example, tRNA genes, rRNA genes, ribosomal RNA genes, ribosomal proteins, RNA polymerase subunit genes, etc. Such genes whose expression is required in all types of cells or tissues are called housekeeping genes, and their synthesis is called constitutive synthesis. Other genes are needed for cell growth only under specific environments. Expression of such genes is regulated by turning on or turning off mechanism. Such genes are called regulatory genes. Now, induction and repression. Bacteria like E. coli can grow on several types of carbohydrates. For example, glucose, sucrose, galactose, arabinose, lactose, etc. Glucose, if present in the medium, is preferentially used by bacteria as a source of energy. In the absence of glucose, bacteria can use any other alternative source of energy. The metabolism of different carbohydrates is regulated by the synthesis of different enzymes depending upon the availability of carbohydrate. Thus, one set of enzymes is induced at one time and repressed at other time. The process by which the expression or synthesis of a set of enzymes is turned on in presence of a particular substrate, for example a carbohydrate, for its metabolism is called induction. Induction occurs only in presence of specific substrate like carbohydrate and is called inducer. Thus, inducers are small molecules that serve as metabolic substrates and trigger the production of enzymes necessary to metabolize them. The genes whose expression is so regulated are called inducible genes, and their products, which are enzymes, are called inducible enzymes. The genetic system responsible for such a phenomenon is called inducible system. The ability of bacteria to control enzyme production is mostly exercised at the level of transcription. The enzymes responsible for the catabolism of substrates like lactose, galactose, arabinose, etc. are characteristically inducible. The first and most prominent example of inducible enzyme system is concerned with lactose metabolism in E. coli, which will be discussed in detail. Now, on the other hand, the situation is reverse in some other cases. For example, bacteria can synthesize many organic molecules for its growth, for example, amino acids, nucleotides, etc. If any of these substances like amino acid tryptophan, for example, is present in the medium, the synthesis of such a substance is blocked by the bacteria. This means that the genes responsible for tryptophan biosynthesis will be turned off when tryptophan is already available in the medium. Same is true for all such substances. This process of turning off the expression of a set of genes by the addition of an end product like tryptophan is called repression. The genes whose expression has been turned off in this way are called repressible genes, and their enzymes are called repressible enzymes. The end product whose addition will stop the synthesis of its own biosynthetic enzymes is called co-repressor. The genetic system responsible for such a phenomenon is called repressible system. Genes that are part of anabolic pathways in bacteria are repressible genes. Examples of such a system are tryptophan, histidine, lysine, and other amino acids. Repression, like induction, also occurs at transcriptional level. Now, what is the concept of an operon? In bacteria, the genes for related functions are grouped into clusters. The expression of all these genes occurs simultaneously to release a polycistronic mRNA. Polycistronic mRNA means an mRNA, a product of genes which carry many gene products which are later on individually released to form individual enzymes. This helps in turning off and turning on the expression of all such functionally related genes. Such a group of genes which are under a common control is called operon. This operon was first discovered by Jacob and Monod in 1961. A class of proteins called repressors checks the activity of such genes by turning on and turning off their expression. The repressor is active in case of inducible system, for example, lac operon, and is made inactive by the addition of inducer. Similarly, the repressor is inactive in case of repressible system, for example, tryptophan operon, and is made active by the addition of co-repressor. Now, let us discuss lac operon as an inducible system. The first and most prominent example of inducible system is concerned with the metabolism of lactose in E. coli. In this bacterium, the synthesis of beta-galactosidase An enzyme that breaks lactose into glucose and galactose has been studied in considerable detail. The mechanism of induction and repression of gene expression was first described by Jacob and Monod 1961, who proposed the operon model for lactose metabolism in E. coli. Jacob and Monod were awarded Nobel Prize in 1965 for this discovery. Structure of lac operon. The lac operon is actually a negatively controlled inducible operon and consists of following units. Number 1, an operator gene, also called as LAC-O. It is 26 base pairs long and is located between promoter and structural genes of the operon. It is actually a part of LAC-Z gene. It is the binding site for regulatory protein. This operator gene controls the activity of all structural genes because the regulator protein actually binds at the operator site and prevents the movement of RNA polymerase. If regulator is not bound at the operator site, then RNA polymerase can freely move and catalyze the synthesis or transcription of structural genes. Second part of lac operon is structural genes. Structural genes are those genes which are meant for the synthesis of mRNA for the metabolism of lactose in case of lac operon. There are 3 structural genes in lac operon. Number 1, LAC-Z gene. This gene is 3520 base pairs long and codes for the enzyme beta galactosidase, which breaks lactose into glucose and galactose. Number 2nd gene of structural genes is LAC-Y gene. This gene is 760 base pairs approximately long and codes for beta galactoside permease, an enzyme, a membrane bound protein which actually pumps lactose into the cells. That is, it remains in the membranes of bacterial cells and helps in entry of lactose into the bacterial cells. Then 3rd gene is LAC-A gene, which is 810 base pairs long. It controls the synthesis of an enzyme called beta galactoside transacetylase, whose function is actually not clearly known, but it is believed that this enzyme transfers an acetyl group from acetyl coenzyme to beta galactosides. Number 3rd part of this lac operon is the promoter site, that is LAC-P. It is called LAC-P. This gene is 86 base pair long. It is present left to the operator gene in the lac operon. It is an RNA polymerase binding site. The binding and movement of RNA polymerase at promoter site depends upon whether repressor is bound at the operator or not, because operator actually lies between promoter and structural genes. Number 4th part of lac operon system is regulator gene. It is called LAC-I. This gene is almost 1000 base pairs long and is present just away from the promoter site. This gene synthesizes a 360 amino acid long repressor protein. 4 copies of these repressor molecules join to form a tetramer, which is functionally active form of the repressor protein. Active repressor then binds at the operator site and blocks transcription of structural genes, whereas inactive repressor cannot bind at the operator site and hence allows transcription of structural genes. Now, how this lac operon works? Normally, the genes for lactose metabolism are turned off because the active repressor remains bound at the operator site and does not allow RNA polymerase to carry out transcription of structural genes. Thus, the genes are normally turned off. When the lactose is present in the medium, these inducer molecules bind with the repressor protein and cause its release from the operator site. The repressor is thus made inactive by binding with the inducer. That is, an inducer repressor complex is formed which prevents its binding at the operator site. This results in free movement of RNA polymerase and synthesis of structural genes takes place. The enzymes produced are later used in the metabolism of lactose by E. coli. The repressor has in fact two binding sites, one for the operator site and one for the inducer. It is well known that actual inducer in lac operon is allolactose instead of lactose. If lactose is removed from the medium, the repressor will again be active and prevent the transcription of structural genes by binding at the operator site. Thus, lac operon is normally off but is made on only by the addition of inducer. Since binding of repressor protein blocks transcription or turns off the gene expression of structural genes, it is called negative control. That is, such a gene expression is called negative control. Constitutive mutants. What are constitutive mutants? Any mutations in regulator or operator genes results in continuous synthesis of enzymes from structural genes. Such strains are called constitutive mutants. This constitutive synthesis occurs in two ways. For example, a mutation in the regulator gene produces an inactive repressor that is unable to bind to an operator. Similarly, a mutation in operator gene makes it unable to bind by the repressor protein. In both these cases, RNA polymerase is free to carry out uncontrolled transcription. Since there is uncontrolled transcription, this is called constitutive synthesis, and such mutant strains of E. coli which have this type of synthesis are called constitutive mutants. Now, what is catabolite repression, also called as the glucose effect? We have so far seen that active repressor binds at the operator and turns off the transcription of structural genes. This is called negative control. As already said, glucose is the most preferred carbohydrate for use as energy source by E. coli cells. It is now well established that presence of glucose in the medium prevents the induction of lac operon as well as other operons, for example, galactose, arabinose, operons, etc., by controlling the synthesis of enzymes for their metabolism. This phenomenon called catabolite repression or glucose effect indicates that glucose, if present in the medium, is catabolized in preference to the other less efficient energy sources like lactose or arabinose, etc. The catabolite repression of lac operon is mediated by a regulatory protein called CAP, catabolite activator protein, and a small effector molecule called cyclic AMP, cyclic adenosine monophosphate. The lac promoter in fact contains two binding sites, one for RNA polymerase and one for CAP-CAMP complex. Binding of CAP-CAMP complex facilitates the binding of RNA polymerase at the promoter site to carry out transcription of structural genes. The CAP-CAMP complex thus exercises positive control by allowing transcription of structural genes. So, this is in contrast to the role of repressor protein which exercises negative control by blocking transcription. CAP-CAMP complex allows transcription by allowing the binding of RNA polymerase and its movement through the structural genes. In the absence of CAMP, cyclic adenosine monophosphate, the CAP alone cannot bind at the promoter site. The CAMP is synthesized by the enzyme adenocyclase. The intracellular concentration of CAMP is sensitive to the presence of glucose. The presence of glucose actually prevents the activation of adenocyclase enzyme, which in turn affects the synthesis of CAMP. In the absence of or in presence of low concentrations of CAMP, the CAP cannot bind at the lac promoter. Thus, RNA polymerase cannot bind efficiently at the promoter, and hence either no or very low transcription of structural genes takes place. Similar phenomenon occurs in other types of operons, like in case of arabinose operon also. We have so far discussed the inducible operon, that is the lac operon. Now, there is another type of system which we call as a repressible system, and a repressible system, the example of such a system is tryptophan operon. Repressible operons have the same basic structure as in case of lac operon, that is, such operons also contain a set of structural genes, an operator gene, a promoter and a regulator gene. The number of structural genes and the position of repressor may, however, vary from one operon to the other. Repressible operons are regulated by the end product of the metabolic pathway, for example, tryptophan. Tryptophan operon contains 5 structural genes which encode the enzymes responsible for the synthesis of tryptophan. The tryptophan operon is normally on as the E. coli need this amino acid for protein synthesis. However, when tryptophan is added in the medium, the operon is turned off. Thus, it is a repressible operon because the operon is turned off by the addition of co-repressor. Tryptophan here is called as co-repressor, whereas in case of lac operon, lactose is called as inducer because it induces the expression of structural genes. Here tryptophan actually represses the expression of structural genes. That is why it is called as a repressible system. How this tryptophan operon works? The regulator gene of tryptophan operon synthesizes an inactive repressor which is unable to bind at the operator. As you must remember that in case of lac operon, the regulator gene synthesizes an active repressor. Here, the regulator gene synthesizes inactive repressor. Therefore, it is not able to bind at the operator, and hence the synthesis of structural genes is normally on because RNA polymerase is free to carry out the synthesis of structural genes, which later on help in the biosynthesis of tryptophan. Addition of tryptophan in the medium results in the binding of tryptophan with the repressor protein to form repressor co-repressor complex. The repressor co-repressor complex is active, which binds at the operator site of tryptophan operon and thus blocks the transcription of structural genes. Tryptophan operon, like lac operon, is also under negative control because the operon is turned off by the activity of repressor protein. That is all about today's topic. Let us summarize this topic. In today's topic, you have learned that most of the gene regulation in prokaryotes occurs at transcriptional level. There are 2 regulating systems of gene expression, for example, inducible system and repressible system. In case of inducible system, the operon is normally off, but is made on by the addition of inducer molecule, for example, lac operon. In case of repressible system, the operon is normally on, but is made off by the addition of co-repressor. Examples of inducible system are lactose, in case of lac operon, and in case of repressible system, tryptophan is the best example. Repressor protein exercises negative control by blocking the transcription of structural genes, whereas CAP-CAMP complex exercises positive control by actually allowing transcription of structural genes. That's all. Thank you.